afternoon. Another day, another episode. Uh, I don't know how many of you all live in Bombay, but anyone who stays in Bombay would know three things which are part of their daily life. We have Anand Bhavan, Madras Cafe, and Thakre Vada Pav. Now you're wondering why am I talking about these three things? Anand Bhavan and Madras Cafe are two places at King Circle which I think most Bombayites go there to eat. And Thakre Vada Pav is somewhere near Karjat where people drive 50-60 kilometers to eat Vada Pav and go back home. You know what is the most beautiful about these three places? And the reason I'm taking three places because we always keep talking about high-end names, big names. These are simple places, simple, beautiful. I also think they are very old. I'm not too sure, but I think Anand Bhavan and Madras Cafe must be 70-80 years old. Second, third generation running it now. They both are South Indian joints. The dosa tastes the same every time you go there. The sambar tastes the same every time you go there. The idli tastes the same every time you go there. You go to Thakre Vada Pav, you eat your Vada Pav, which is what? Bread and aloo tikki in it, or potato tikki. It tastes the same. It is so important that there's a promise made between the seller and the buyer. And the seller keeps a promise. I don't want to talk about big brands and big names that everyone knows. I'm talking of relationships between a South Indian joint at King Circle and people all over Bombay. Between a guy who makes Vada Pav at Karjat and people from Pune and Bombay who come there to eat. I know people who come from outside the state also, but I'm just talking of these two cities. That's very simple, credible, transparent, and a beautiful relationship between someone who sells and someone who buys. Because someone who buys needs a lot of predictability. You have to repeat what you do day in and day out as a promise or as a taste. It's only then I come back because I don't want you to flirt with my taste all the time. I don't want to go to Anand Bhavan or Madras Cafe every weekend and discover a new taste for dosa. It doesn't work. It works only when the dosa tastes the same. In the same way, brands make a promise, large brands, whether it's Nike or it is McDonald's or it is KFC or it is Starbucks. Imagine going back to Starbucks every time and tasting a new coffee. It won't work. It has to be the same coffee in all the outlets all over the world. That's how Starbucks works. What is Starbucks? Starbucks is a cup of coffee. It's nothing complicated. But the reason you go there is because it's the coffee you get in every country you travel to. Now, recently we had the Karnataka elections, and a lot of people, a lot of theorists, a lot of people said a lot of things. I am not going to comment about all those things. But I think somewhere there's a trick that the BJP lost in Karnataka. And the trick is very simple. Like Madras Cafe and Anand Bhavan, who make a promise to us every day and they live by it, BJP made a promise to us. BJP made a promise to us in 2014 that they will improve our life, they will improve the quality of our life, and they'll eliminate corruption. They came to power at the back of corruption. They came to power at the back of a person who created something called the Gujarat model. So all the boxes were ticked, and we Indians were very excited, and we went back to them. We all loved them. We respected them. We gave them power again in 19. In fact, 19 we gave them more power than 14. But I think that promise is slightly getting away from what they stood for. Now, to start talking about the kind of things that are going on, is incorrect. But I'm just saying, if they want to play the game again, if they want to play the game again and play the game serious, they need to start thinking about what they promised us. They promised us a simple dosa, which is happiness, uh, a little bit of idli, which is prosperity, a little bit of vada, which is uh, wealth. Those things are not happening. What is happening is completely different. So I think the people of Karnataka have given them a little caution before the 24 elections that get your act together or it's going to be tough in 24. We've given you one chance, we've given you a second big chance. I don't think so. They would get a third chance if this continues. They have some time now. Get back to the drawing board, recalibrate your promise, and come back. And the beauty is that your competition also doesn't have a promise. Now, if you look at what Congress has promised in Karnataka, it's quite bizarre actually. They are promising a dole, they are promising some funny scholarships. That is not a promise from a government. That is a process. That is what you do for a living. Promise is how do you make my life better? You're running the state. You're not running an NGO. You're not running a place where you give away freebies. You don't want to build a country full of youngsters who are living on dole. You want to create a country where every youngster goes to work, every youngster has a job. How do you create jobs? How do you create infrastructure? How do you get in plants? I was having dinner with someone recently, and that person is quite a prominent person, and I really respect him. And there was a report on the media that India will require about 2,500 aircrafts in the next 20 years to meet our domestic flying needs. And Airbus and Boeing are pitching for it. How difficult it is for them to tell them to come and set up their plants in India. If you want this kind of an order book, you come here, set up your plant, give our people work, and generate jobs. That's how you create jobs. IT revolution was creating jobs. Technology revolution was creating jobs. I remember when Vajpayee ji made his first budget presentation as the Prime Minister of India. He announced the famous Golden Quadrangle, the road that connects the 4 metros in India, which I think is being completed now. But Mr. Munjal, I'm talking of the senior Munjal, the person who owns Hero motorcycles, he was on a television channel and his response was fantastic. He says, forget the roads. I can see thousands of engineers are going to buy my bikes who are going to ride around building these roads. He saw an opportunity to sell his bikes and road was not his priority. So, your trigger point for creating wealth and prosperity could be something completely different. And the manifestation of that trigger point could be absolutely different. I think as government, as state heads in India, we must start expecting something more strategic, more long-term, more sharper from people who run our lives. Setting up these funny freebies, giving away stuff, it's not good. It's not good for youngsters. They get used to a certain pattern of life, which is not good for them. So you have people in the government, in the central government who made promises, who are not standing by them. You have a bunch of people who are coming to power challenging those promises, who still don't have a proper vision, who come to power with all kinds of freebies. And I think a lot of them are coming to power because of incumbency, but I'm not getting into that. All I'm saying is if you're coming to power, create long-term job solutions, life solutions. Be a brand proposition that people believe in. It's got a promise, it delivers, rather than, getting people to sit in the line in the morning and giving away free food. That is wrong. I think that's fundamentally wrong. India needs a lot of stability. India needs a lot of space to operate in. India needs opportunities. India needs jobs. You need to create jobs, create so many jobs that every person should have 3 or 4 options. Currently, they don't. You go to rural India, it is terrible. Youngsters used to work in cities have gone back to the villages. They are fighting, they are selling land, they are They are rebuilding their homes. Cement sales in rural India today are more than urban sales. Why? Because of all these partitions that are going on in rural India. They are breaking homes, they are building walls. Brothers are fighting. Earlier, one brother was in the village taking care of the fields. The other guy worked in the city. Now that is gone. They all go back to the village. They are all going back. And it is very sad. So I think uh, the next 2 years are very important for India. And next 2 years, as citizens of this country, we should also try and ask a little sharp questions. And the questions should be outside of this rhetoric stuff. It has to be more sharper. It has to do with education, jobs, wealth creation, opportunities, self-respect. These are the areas that we need to start questioning our government in. And don't get excited about freebies. Freebies is fine, but that's not what we should build our nation on or our economy on. It should be built on hard stuff, on water management, on plastic management, on environment management, or industrial management, on technology management. That's how you create wealth, that's how you create jobs, that's how you create prosperity, and that's how you create Achhe Din. Achhe Din is not anything but happiness and prosperity. If there's another definition of Achhe Din, I don't know. But in my head, Achhe Din is equal to prosperity and happiness. And anyone who promises me that, I think that answers the question. And I think people should flock to that. Thank you very much. This has been a burning subject in my head. I just thought about it. I speak about it. I don't know how articulate I've been about it. But I just think it's a debate that someone had to start. And it'd be fun if a lot of people participate and create pressure point on the people who run our lives. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.